Dust ist gut. What a start. Holy hell, this is amazing. This is Chiefs football, baby. We are bleeping back. Okay, what more can you ask for? I mean, seriously, let's be real here. Tyreek Hill is still giving the Chiefs touchdowns. What a play. I cannot get over the fact that McDuffie, which, by the way, McDuffie needs to get talked about more in the national media as far as one of the best corners in football. He doesn't get a ton of interceptions, but who cares? He forces fumbles all the freaking time. Mike Edwards with the astute observation to, hey, I ain't going anywhere. Let's try to make a big play happen. A little smart back pass to Brian Cook leads to 6. 21-0. Holy hell. Look, at my Miami Dolphins, I'm still in a robe. Looks like they are still asleep. What a start for the Kansas City Chiefs. Joe, the Chiefs are so back, baby.
I was so excited. I almost got naked and just wore the robe, but I was a little bit worried about the potential violations there. This is the perfect first half. Things could not be better. Vibes are perfect. And it was so poetic that it was McDuffie forcing the fumble on Tyreek and then Brian Cook taking it back. We traded Tyreek. We invested in the defense. We used those picks to get a couple of players that helped make one of the coolest plays of the entire season. McDuffie has been a game changer at every level. Drew Tranquill looks excellent. This defense has showed up, passed the test. Got to give the offense props as well. Andy Reid leaned into Pacheco effectively, and we took 8 minutes off the clock in the second quarter on that touchdown drive. That's the long, sustained drive we want to see. We punched it in the red zone. Everything we've been asking for these last several weeks came to fruition in the first half. I am pumped. Vibes are high over here, baby.
Yeah, and let's talk about the offense, okay? Outside of a couple of penalties, which... okay, we've seen a lot of this happen with the offensive line, but outside of a couple of penalties, the Chiefs' offense has been very effective. They had a great first drive. They got into a lull, and that final drive, as you mentioned, culminated in that long, sustained drive, death by 1,000 paper cuts. But the receivers have seemingly been on a better page with Mahomes than we've seen in past weeks. Sky Moore, Justin Watson, even MVS, obviously first play of the game. That play action was a great way to start this one. But I want to touch on Rashee Rice very briefly here because Rashee Rice, while the numbers might not be eye-popping, right? What really stood out on that huge third down catch, right? It was 3rd down and 5. The offense was stalling a little bit. What happens might end up in a punt that leads to Miami great field position. He comes down with an incredible catch, very difficult, got his elbows and arms underneath, so it wasn't a drop. But what stood out to me, he had 2 guys on him, 2 dudes on him. Do you see who was open? Travis Kelce. Now, past weeks, what would we see? Mahomes would go to Travis. I'm not saying it's the wrong move, but he would have gone to Travis Kelce. Mahomes trusts Rashee Rice. That, to me, was a huge takeaway. The trust factor from Mahomes to Rashee.
Amen to that. Dude, the hype train is left the station. I saw the Chiefs tweet this, and I love the nickname, Rasheesh. That dude is balling. I have been so impressed. And like you said, critically making, especially because his huge issue has been catching the football. He leads all wide receivers in drop rate coming into this week. And that's a difficult catch on a critical moment in the game to extend that long drive. It was great to see. It was great to see the burst from him on that touchdown as well. You know, catching the ball at the line of scrimmage and just taking off. It feels like we've seen that exact play from him several times this season. So he looks great. Great to see Sky Moore get involved, make some positive plays there. That catch on the sideline was a nice one. Justin Watson still looks good, but we've been spreading the ball around. And what's really been beautiful, in my opinion, is this is a game that the Dolphins are taking Travis Kelce out of the equation effectively. I was wrong about Travis Kelce's involvement. They have been blanketing him. And even on the McKinnon touchdown, you saw the middle linebacker follow Kelce on the drag to free up McKinnon. And that our offense has been able to be effective while Kelce has, 2 catches for 7 yards is a testament to Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Nagy's ability to scheme up receivers. Toney made a nice play. Everyone's getting involved. Everyone's eating. I saw it in the chat. Someone said inverse Murphy's law. Everything that could go right is going right, and we're feeling good. Who cares about the Broncos? This is a good day.
I want to give a shout out to our resident German Chiefs fan that's always around here. Future Trunks says, "What do you say to the German atmosphere? We know how to party." You are so right, man. You are so incredibly right. This is a home game for the Chiefs. It's not Arrowhead, it's Eurohead. Okay, it is loud, it is electric, it is a great atmosphere. I will grant you that. Raymond Chandler, thank you so much for the super chat. Always appreciate you, Raymond. Always a good dude. Says, "Crap, got a weather alert on my phone. Toney made a nice reception, and Sky got two. Alert said hell has frozen over." I will say, look what happens when you use Kadarius Toney like a wide receiver.
Yes, thank you.
You put him in the slot right there, so he's going up against either a slot corner, a safety, or a linebacker. And what does he do? He runs a great slant, and the physicality, the speed in small spaces. Now, he's no Tyreek Hill. He also didn't fumble like Tyreek Hill, but he's no Tyreek Hill. He's great in those small spaces where you think, how is he going to get any yards? He finds a way to go forward, but the strength is what really was noticeable to me. The fact that Kadarius Toney is this slight build, we've talked about the injuries, but the physicality he brings really got it going.
Well, and it seems like every single time that he catches the football, he makes somebody miss. He breaks a tackle. I'll be honest, outside of Pacheco, Kadarius Toney's my favorite Chiefs player just to watch because he can break tackles so effectively. And if we're going to use him in the more traditional wide receiver, right, I think it unlocks a whole new ceiling for the offense moving forward. He's clearly not jet sweep gadget play guy. Let McColl do that stuff. Let Kadarius hit the slant, catch a ball on the outside, maybe a dig, something like that, and then make plays in space. It's been awesome to see spreading the ball around and letting everyone eat, essentially.
Yeah. No, this has been the prototypical Mahomes offense, Chiefs era football.
Yes.
But this time, the Chiefs defense is absolutely electric. Now, I will say the game is not over. You got to be careful. No lead is safe. Miami can score very, very quickly. As much as it's fun to rip on Tyreek Hill after all the smack he talked and get his ass fumbled for a touchdown on him, he's electric, man. I mean, he can easily change a game. Jalen Waddle as well. And we got to keep an update on L'Jarius Sneed, right? He went into the locker room, potential for a concussion. I think that is what the cause for concern is right now. We will get more information as we see it. But again, the Chiefs defense as a whole, the secondary as a whole, shout out to Drew Tranquill for reading that play. It was a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. It was a great play call by Miami, but he read it and was still able to bring the running back down. That was huge. I have been just thoroughly impressed with this Chiefs defense. I get Miami at home. That's when they're most electric. That's when their offense is humming the best. You get them out of that 75 and sunny. They can struggle. But this is different, man. This Chiefs defense came to play.
Well, and to that point, we talked in the pregame how the path for a Dolphins victory, what scared us, was the Dolphins running game. Raheem Mostert, they got Jeff Wilson back there. Mike McDaniel could scheme up runs like nobody's business in the outside zone scheme. Well, let's take a little look. Raheem Mostert, 3 rushes for 6 yards. The run defense has been spectacular. Not having Nick Bolton in there, Tranquill stepped up. I've been really impressed with the defensive line overall. And obviously, you mentioned the secondary. Like this is a marquee statement game. And barring disaster, the conversation the entire week is going to be how the Chiefs came out and proved that they are head and shoulders above every other team in the league. And literally everyone will forget that we lost to Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
Yeah. I love these comments right here. Tim Hall says Sterling equals Quagmire. Brad says Sterling Hefner. Jimmy says Sterling's hair is less coiffed since pregame. Yeah, you're correct. I woke up this morning, just throw the robe on and came out here. I made some coffee. I'm not a morning guy. And also,
don't coif. Things are going well.
Yeah. I shaved the mustache. For those of you that don't know, I shaved the mustache after Chiefs losses, and then it grows back for Chiefs wins. It's kind of a little underground thing I do. So yeah, it's good luck, I think, because you're right. The Chiefs have not dropped a pass since the stash has been shaved. Vladimir Putin, thank you so much. Great name. I always love that name. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says Tyreek went from a shirt talker to Betty Crocker. Let's go. Let's go indeed. All right, before we get into the second half, before we go and get settled back into our chairs, what are you looking forward to the second half here, Joe, and how do the Chiefs keep this lead?
So the Dolphins get the ball in the first half, but I want another sustained Pacheco heavy drive when we have the ball. The best way to end this game is to chew out the clock and maintain possession. I was really encouraged by Isaiah Pacheco with 10 carries in the first half. Last week, we mentioned how Pacheco only had 8 carries, and it seemed like it went away from him. Just one second half carry against the Broncos. I love that we're getting him involved more. There's a lot more balance in the offense, so I want us to lean on Pacheco, eat that clock, let Pat do his thing. I'm curious if the Dolphins are going to change their defensive alignment to let Kelsey beat you now, because Mahomes is showing that he can throw it to everybody else and they can beat you as well. So I'm curious to see what adjustments the Dolphins are going to have. But if we can come out and take 5-6 minutes off the clock with that first drive, I'm going to feel like the game is over. So that's what I want to see. I want to make sure that we don't repeat the mistake of last week by only giving Pacheco 1 second half carry.
Yeah. I will say this. Don't turn the ball over, but don't completely give up on some of the aggressive passes the Chiefs have done so far, right? If you get too complacent, you take the foot off the gas, you only try and run and make sure you play too safe. I will tell you this, we have seen in the past, that's when teams can get back into the game. No 3-and-outs, no turnovers. That's the key for the Chiefs offense. And defensively, keep doing what you're doing. You're putting pressure on Tua Tagovailoa. That is really going to make this amped up, I think, in the second half when they are forced to pass more and more and more. Expect Chris Jones, Charles Omenihu, and George Karlaftis, who's been a little bit of everywhere. Let's be real. Karlaftis dropped back into coverage on Jalen Waddle at one point. Not saying I like it, but he has been all over the field. We will see you guys in the second half. Patrick Allen, Matt Vergram to start. Joe and myself will join about halfway through. Come on, Chiefs Kingdom. We just saw one of the top 10 best plays offensively I think we have ever seen to head into the second half. Take care of the Dolphins in Germany. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.